Hi, everyone. So I am Michelle. I go by M. My last name is Andrews, and I am your instructor for this fall session of Applied Technical Writing. And we're going to go through the syllabus a little bit here so that we all know what we're doing and so that we can be on the same page. This is a little bit about me as a person, just so that you guys know that I am, in fact, a person, which means that I make mistakes and don't get everything right all the time, which is an important thing for you to know as my students. I do ask that you communicate with me as much as you are able to do so about anything that you need, any challenges that you're facing, anything that you think might get in the way of your learning. Please just communicate with me and I will do whatever I can to make sure that you are successful in this course. We do not have a textbook in this course. Everything is going to be on Blackboard. It's all already in there. These are some of our course learning outcomes, but the long and short of it is that I am trying to prepare you to write and communicate well in a professional setting. So, like in your future careers. Our grades work out essentially like this. Participation is 67% of your grade, and final drafts are 33% of your grade. There's, I think, 6 final drafts, and something like 80 very small participation assignments. So as you can see, you cannot pass the course without doing one of these two things. You have to do both. This is our breakdown of the course. We're going to start with professional biographies. Then we're going to go to emails, resumes, cover letters, instructions, and then there will be a technical document that I'm going to get into a little bit more at the end of this syllabus. This is just standard copy paste from every other syllabus that you'll see. It means behave like a decent human being. My attendance policy. So attendance is not counted towards your grade, and this is obviously an asynchronous course, so it works like this. If you turn something in, that counts as you being present that week. If you don't turn anything in on the first week, I will withdraw you from the course. This is because my experience has been is that if you don't do the first week's assignments, you're probably not going to be able to do the rest of the course because the first week is what prepares you for the rest of the course. Otherwise, for the rest of the course, if you are absent for any 2 weeks, not consecutive, just any 2 weeks where you don't turn in anything for one whole week, and then another whole week you don't turn something in, I will also withdraw you from the course. I don't know what you're doing, what you're going through. I am obviously somewhere else entirely. So if you don't show up in the course and you don't message me and you don't tell me what's going on, I have to assume that you don't want to be in this course. And I am pretty ready to withdraw you from this course because the sooner I withdraw you, one, you can get money back if you're withdrawn in the first week. But two, I can withdraw you anytime before October 23rd, and it'll be a W in your transcript instead of an F. And that's a lot better for your GPA and the rest of your college career. Okay? Academic workload. This is a pretty long paragraph, but what it essentially gets into is that I don't know how long it's going to take you to do the assignments. I can't say, oh, it'll take you 3 hours a week, because for some people that's 3 hours, and for some people it might take 8. And I really have no way of predicting which one of those you are or any in between. It depends a lot on different factors, like whether you're trying to hold down a job at the same time, whether you're trying to take care of your siblings or your children or your elderly parents. If there are people in your life who are supportive or not of your academic career. And so what I ask instead is that you ask me any questions. If you're like, hey, I don't know about this assignment coming up, I don't know what to do for it, or I don't know how long it's going to take, or anything, any question at all, as long as you phrase it politely, ask, and I will help you out to the extent that I can, okay? Late assignments. So most of our assignments, the vast majority of our assignments are participation assignments. They're graded complete or incomplete. You either did them or you didn't. And that includes doing them before the due date, which is every Sunday at 11:59 p.m. There are 78 of these assignments. So if you miss a few, it's not a big deal. A few, though. If you miss like a dozen, you're obviously going to be in trouble. The final drafts, however, are bigger assignments, and there's only, like I said, 6 of them or something like that. And so these have the 24-hour policy. So 24 hours after the due date, you'll lose 10% of a grade. So if you were going to have an A, now you have a B. 24 hours after that, you'll have a C. That said, if you turn something in and it was going to be a C anyway, and you turned it in 3 days late, then now it's a failing assignment. So just keep that in mind. You lose 10% of the grade you would have had for every day that you turn in your final draft late. Okay? Then accessibility statements. I do encourage you guys to read through this. I give you some examples about things that you can ask for in the classroom without having to go through disability services at all. I don't need to know your disabilities in order to make this an easier class for you. If it's something that I can do while you're still able to learn the same material that your peers are learning, then I'm going to do it. Okay, so I just need you to communicate with me. If there's anything at all that can make this easier or better for you, you just have to tell me and we'll work through it together. Okay? Title IX, plagiarism. We are going to use some AI in this course. It'll be in the first week of every unit, and it will be clearly marked AI critique assignment. AI is a great tool. It's also a problematic tool. The people who create AI have biases or ways of viewing the world that can be hurtful to others. When they create their technology, that technology then perpetuates those ideas. It makes it so that things like racism and sexism and ableism can go on and live in the AI. And I have a little story about a time that that happened, and it was in the news here. So the point is, in this class, we are going to critique AI, but we're probably not going to be using AI to write. In fact, I have a rule about no AI generated words, phrases, paragraphs, or essays are allowed in this class. You can use it to brainstorm, you can use it to research, but the actual words need to be yours. Okay? Ask me if you have any questions. Okay, so this goes over the AI documents. We use Grammarly's AI software and we'll generate example documents of the ones that we are creating, and then we'll critique them and figure out what's wrong with them, what the AI did right, what the AI could do better, what will do better in our own documents. We're not going to do peer reviews in this class, and then rough drafts. So for each document, you'll turn in a rough draft, and then a week later, you'll turn in the final draft. This is the rubric. So you'll see that up here at the top, complete all required parts. Every assignment sheet says exactly what needs to be in that assignment. Just make sure that they're all there. Organization, easy to follow. Conciseness, it means that it only uses the words it needs to use, not any more words. Don't worry, we'll learn more about that later. Same with accessibility. We'll learn more about that later. Audience recognition, knowing who you're writing for is very important for things like resumes, cover letters. And then grammar and spelling, obviously. So for our final technical document assignment, what you're going to do is you're going to contact someone in your field in a job that you would someday like to have. And you're going to contact them and you're going to ask them if they will meet with you. And then you are going to meet with them and you're going to talk to them about the kind of documents that they write and create in their field. Then you're going to write up all of their answers, and then you're going to create a document for them. They will provide an example document, or you will suggest a document based on your conversation with them, but then you're going to answer these questions about how to improve that document. Finally, you are going to create that document yourself. So you're going to create a new version of the document that they're actually using in their real job, and you're going to create a better version. And that's going to be the last project. And it's very important that you pay attention to the mentorship relationship throughout the course. So I will be sending out almost weekly reminders throughout the course to help you stay on top of that. So don't panic. We will get there when we get there. Then extra credit. So in order to add 10% to any final draft grade, and we've seen that those are the most important grades in the class, you can complete any one of the following tasks but you can only do each task one time. So like for instance, make an advising appointment. You can't just keep doing that until your grade gets up to an A. You can do it one time. There are 4 options here. You can choose any 3 of them to do one time each. So one is making an advising appointment. You're not just going to make the appointment, you're going to attend that appointment and actually do something in that appointment, whether that's change your major or sign up for classes for the next semester or ask about withdrawing or whatever. Doesn't matter as long as you actually do something in that appointment. You cannot just make an advising appointment, check that off your list, call it extra credit. Okay? It has to be a fruitful, a productive meeting. It's the same thing with meeting with a librarian. You schedule the appointment with the librarian, you meet with them, and you actually do research or you learn about the library, but you must actually do something. You cannot show up and say, please sign this so that I can have extra credit. Please make an appointment for me so I can have extra credit. You do actually have to do the thing. Same with IT. And then the final one is using your public library. So there are a lot of libraries here in Pinal County. You can get a card as long as you have an ID with Pinal County address. You will have to check out 2 books, one on one date and one on a different date. So there has to be 2 separate dates. And I want to see the receipts for each of those dates. Okay? So you can do any of those things. The reason that they are these tasks and not others is because successful students who have high grade point averages, students who maybe don't have as much panic because they're getting help elsewhere, they do these things. They do these things already. They get advising on their side. They get the librarians' help. They get IT's help. They use the public library. These are resources that successful students use to support them in their academic career. So I want you to practice these skills. In other news, this is our actual course. So this is my view. Let me turn on student preview so you'll see it the way you'll see it. So right now there's nothing in it because the semester has not started yet, but this is what it'll look like on the first day. Then you see calendar here will list all of your due dates, all of them, for the whole semester. Announcements, you'll be able to see everything I've announced, but my announcements all also go to your student email, so make sure you're checking that regularly. We're not going to have discussion boards in this class. This is your grade book. It's very important that you check your gradebook on a regular basis, make sure that everything's getting graded, make sure that you're not forgetting to turn things in, etc. And then this is how you message me. You'll click new message, and then you'll enter my name, and then you'll type, and then you'll click send, okay? And I do want you to do that. I do not feel stressed out or anything about student emails, except for very, very glad to get them because I want to help you succeed. And because this is an asynchronous course, I can't just like see that you're in the back of the classroom sweating bullets because you don't understand the assignment, okay? So I need these messages so that I can know what's going on with you and how I can help. So back to the student preview or my preview. So you'll see here, we're going to start with the personal essay, then, oh, shoot, this is not the right course. My bad, y'all. Okay, we're going to start with the professional biography and then the professional email, then resumes, then cover letters, then instructions, and then a technical document. Please don't worry if you don't know what any of those things are, okay? Not a big deal. You're in this course to learn about them. Anyways, happy first week of school, and please message me if you need anything or if there's any way that I can help you, and I will see you soon.